2.5 billion people in the world suffer with inadequate sanitation, and the resulting waterborne diseases cause the deaths of 5,000 children per day. The need for action is clear. However, the difficulties in arranging the infrastructure or supplying the water needed for current toilets is extremely challenging. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have instigated the Reinvent the Toilet Challenge to combat this problem, looking to achieve 5 objectives that produce a desirable toilet that removes risks of germs, is off-grid, requires no water or electricity, and is less than 5 US cents per user per day. We in the design team here at Cranfield University are focusing on objective number 5, ensuring the solution is truly aspirational. Enabling that future solutions diffuse effectively among target audiences, it is crucial that the concept is desirable. This requires an understanding of the consumer's needs and values and putting them at the core of the design. The focus of the research is to elicit constructs of interest to the target user. For the following reasons, the use of a survey was rejected by a means of investigation. People don't always know what they really want or feel, and the construction of a questionnaire is also open to bias from the researcher, and overseen constructs may miss key elements of importance to the respondent. Ethnographic techniques are more appropriate methods, where emphasis is allowing on respondents to freely express what they want to. This method follows a 3-step process: contextual interviews with a demonstration of use, systematic observations, and analysis. For the contextual interview, prompting the respondent is sometimes necessary, and the construction of the semi-structured interview was based on the 15 factors identified as influential factors in behavioural change within the water, sanitation and health sector in the IBM WASH framework. The contextual interview was conducted on 77 respondents of both owners of an existing household sanitary solution and non-investors in sanitary solutions to better understand the drivers for acquisition. It was undertaken in Kumasi, Ghana, with the help of Clean Team, who supplied guides and translators. The objective of the contextual interview was to find what constructs were important to the respondents and whether there were unarticulated needs. The 40 customers of Clean Team toilets and 33 non-investors of sanitary solutions made up a total of 18.5 hours of footage from the interviews and demonstration of use. Upon return to the UK, a trained systematic observation team of 10 observers and 1 translator were assembled, each designated with a specific set of observations for analysis of the footage. These observations were characterized into groups of surrounding environment, the use, triggers for use, cleaning and acquisition, displays of emotion, and demographics. When an observation was made from the footage, the team stopped the footage, discussed the observation, and documented the observation into a database. There are a number of situations where responses in the interview were not anticipated in the planning of the investigation, or contradictions in the demonstration of use to what the respondent claimed they did in the interview. The notes obtained from each observation were converted into a number of codes, based on emergent themes from an exploratory coding schema that were agreed upon by the team. The question still remains: what are the key themes and what codes are related? The team then used Pareto analysis to verify and ensure all the codes, or themes if you will, were captured. The team then were confident that if they interviewed more respondents, there would be no novel topics of discussion that would emerge. The codes that occurred most frequently were then investigated further by retrieving the highest correlated observations. For instance, when they're talking about the use of a toilet, what else are they talking about? We can see in this example that the majority of observations are frustrations, contradictions, and workarounds, implying that there could be some improvements made to the design of the existing sanitary solution. But what improvements? Again, investigating these observations further, we see that the top associated codes are others in the house, the liquid used in the toilet, and they're discussed. Upon a review of the notes made, this can be qualified into a statement. The that there is a frustration with children and others making a mess in the incorrect use of the toilet, and there is a frustration in the splashing from the liquid on the anus. This process was then repeated for the top occurring codes by the 10-member research team. The analysis produced 21 key observations from the 1,441 total made in Ghana. 6 personas were generated that summarised the 77 respondents interviewed, and a thick description was produced to communicate the audience thoroughly. The personas showed the varieties of people interviewed and their differing environments, while the thick description was generated from correspondence mapping of the codes and observations to concisely communicate on one page the demographic and their motivations. This rich information can now be used to inform the product specification to dictate the functional features and attributes of the final design. An aspirational sanitary solution for this target market may not resemble toilets as we currently view them. Satisfying the user's needs and values can now be achieved through a product or service that simply meets the product specification, however the manifestation may be. This means that the opportunity for innovation is greater and the scope of creativity for designers is wider. Our sanitary solution can be designed specifically for this target market and will address their salient frustrations, needs and fears whilst meeting their unarticulated values to make the solution something that they aspire to have in their home.